Not even gonna lie to y'all, I felt like I was gonna die. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those who do not know me, I am J Monet, and as you can see by the title, I'm going to be doing a story time on my experience in the hospital. It first started off when I had my regular prenatal checkup appointment. At the time, I was 9 months, so I was 38 weeks, so I was going, I think, every other week. Yeah, so I was going every other week. When I went in before, they said everything was good, my blood pressure and everything was fine. And the second time, whenever I started my vlog, as you can see in the labor and delivery vlog, I have it at the end of the video. So whenever I went to my appointment, they did my blood pressure, and they told me, you know, your blood pressure's high. But it was weird because 2 days before I had my appointment, when I was working, I noticed that my feet started to get swollen, and I started to have a lot more headaches than usual. But I didn't really think anything of it. I thought, you know, being that I was a, first-time mom, I thought that was normal, especially like during pregnancy. So when I went to my appointment, she noticed that my blood pressure was high, and she said, how have you been feeling? I said, I've been feeling fine. And so I was like, why? Like, because she seemed like kind of concerned. So she said, your blood pressure is 178 over like, I think 90 something, 100 and something. I can't really like remember the exact numbers, but it was around that. I remember that it was 178 over something. She said, I'm gonna, you could go back to we're gonna take you to the room, and like the doctor's gonna speak to you and stuff. So at this point, I'm feeling nervous. Like, speak to me. Like, what do you mean? Like, is my baby okay? Whenever she said that my blood pressure was high, they went to go check my urine, and they noticed that I had protein in my urine. So they said that I have preeclampsia, and that they want me to come back to the hospital and to get the baby out, basically. And preeclampsia is common. It's basically whenever you have like protein in your urine and high blood pressure, and it's not safe for the baby. So they tried to help out with that and stuff like that. The doctor comes in the room and checks to see how many centimeters dilated I was. And at that time, I wasn't even dilated at all yet, and like my son was still really, really high at 38 weeks, so I'm like, what? She said, you're not dilated at all. I was like, are you serious? The day before, I was doing a whole bunch of, dances and stuff like that. Because they said that helps with the baby. I had some real spicy food because they said that helps, But, honestly, the spicy food could have really triggered, my blood pressure. Honestly, like, I really don't know. So anywho, so the doctor comes in the room and she says, how are you feeling, stuff like that. She was like, well, I can tell you this, you are not leaving the hospital without a baby. So when she said that, I was like, what? Like, guys, honestly, I didn't know how to feel. Like, I was happy, but at the same time I was worried, because I was like, I want to make sure that, everything's okay with him before I could be, happy and stuff like that. So I come home. I had mixed emotions, guys, not even gonna lie. Like, I was low-key kind of happy because I'm like, yes, like I finally get to meet the love of my life. And then also at the same time, I was, kind of nervous because I'm like, wow, like I'm really about to be a mom. Like, reality really, really started to hit. So I called my mom and I'm like, mom, like, can you come get me from the hospital? I'm about to have this baby. I'm not leaving. The doctor said I'm not leaving here without a baby, and I need to get my hospital bag and everything that I need. So she came to get me, and I come home and I get the hospital bag and everything, and then she takes me to the hospital. So when she took me to the hospital, on my way there, they called me. They was like, hello, like, we're just making sure that you guys were coming, that you were like on your way, because we haven't heard from you and you're not here. I say, yes, ma'am, I'm on the way. I'll be there in like, a couple minutes. So whenever I arrived, we had to wait for a triage room to be available because they were cleaning and stuff. So then I went to, the triage room, and they put the contraction monitor and the baby's heartbeat monitor on my stomach, to keep a track of all of that. So after that, the doctor came in and she was like, how are you feeling? And guys, when I tell you, when they check to see how many centimeters dilated you are, it hurts so bad. Like, I was in a lot of pain. Not really, but it hurt, like, for that minute. It's so uncomfortable. So after that, I was just waiting there, and then the lady came in the room. She said, you're gonna have to have a COVID test. Guys, when I tell you, like, I feared having a COVID test because I'm like, what? Like, I seen a lot of people get it, and I seen like different Instagram videos and stuff. So, and it looked really uncomfortable. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want, I do not want to take this COVID test. So I took it. It really wasn't that bad, honestly. So then after that, they took me to another, I think they took me to the labor and delivery room after they tested after they gave me the COVID test and everything. They took me to the labor and delivery room, and they checked to see how many centimeters dilated it was again. I don't know how often they're supposed to do it in a day, but they checked that, and they also put a catheter in. When I tell y'all that catheter hurt so bad, like so bad. It was so uncomfortable. And they put some, I think it was Cervidil or Cervitec, I don't remember. It's in my labor delivery video. So they put that in, and I was also very, very, very uncomfortable. And then they kept like messing up how to put it in. I'm like, yo, like, what is this? I'm like, what? Like, it was crazy. So the very first night I had this lady. I had this lady, and she was, okay, so the hospital I was at, you don't have one specific doctor. There's different nurses and different doctors, so it was the doctor that actually delivered Giannis. She, I never met her day in my life. Anywho, but that's besides the point. So this particular nurse, she, there was a vomit bag that they gave me because I told them that my stomach was hurting. So they gave me a vomit bag, and they said, here's if, you feel you have to vomit. Right? So I need y'all to remember that I had this vomit bag. So the lady comes in, she's like, oh, like, you're doing good, like you're urinating good, you're doing great. Just keep drinking water and keep staying hydrated. I was like, okay. And then she put the urine in the vomit bag and was walking to the bathroom, and literally the pee was like, the pee dropped because it's a weak plastic bag. Like it dropped, and there was the urine all over the floor. I was like, bitch, what? Oh my God. In my mind, I was like, you've been working here. Have you ever done that before? Like, I forgot to mention that when I went to the hospital, they quickly put me on magnesium. They put me on magnesium because my blood pressure is really, really high, and magnesium would prevent me going into a seizure while being pregnant with my son. So the magnesium didn't necessarily help my blood pressure go down, but it helped me so it doesn't go, like further up. So they put me on magnesium. At this point, I have magnesium, and I also have Cervidil, So I think, or Cervitec, whatever. So after a while, they came in, took it out, and then, waited a little bit, and then they checked to see how many centimeters I was dilated. And I wasn't dilated at all. Like, it was crazy because I'm like, yo, like, this baby's not ready to come out at all. Like, I'm 38 weeks. And it's like, now just thinking, I wonder, I'm like, okay, if I would have never had to have an emergency C-section, or if I would have never had to if I've never had pre-eclampsia, I wonder when I would have had him. Like, crazy. Being I was 38, like, I was at my last trimester, and he wasn't ready. Like, boy, he was just chilling up there, just chilling up in my stomach. So yeah, so that was the first day. The second day, they kept doing the Cervidil Cervitec thing. I was in the hospital for about a week or two. So then the third day, I had this really, really nice nurse, and my blood pressure kept going up, guys. Like, it wasn't going up too high, but it was like around the 180s, 170, 160. But sometimes it would be low. It would just all really depend. And the lady came in, and she was like, you can't really eat anything yet. I was like, I can't? She's like, no. I said, well, can I have a popsicle or something? She was like, yeah, what kind of popsicle would you like? Yeah, I was tearing those popsicles up. Like, me and those popsicles was best friends. They would also come in the room, and they would like check my reflexes and stuff and make sure, everything was working how it was supposed to. This is when they gave me magnesium toxicity. And like, my son, like Giannis, there was like a point in time, because he was moving a lot. And so there's a point in time where he wasn't like moving at all. And I guess at that hospital, the nurses could like watch and see like different monitors and stuff. So I guess she came, and she was like, the baby's not moving at all. When I tell you my heart dropped, like, I low-key started crying, because I'm like, what do you mean? And so then she started like moving like him in my stomach, and then he started like kicking back. So I was like, okay. She was like, okay, now we hear a heartbeat. Now we hear a heartbeat. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I was so scared. She said that she was gonna give me an epidural before the contractions got really crazy. I love this nurse, by the way. She said, I'm gonna talk to the anesthesiologist, or whenever you really start feeling the contractions, or whenever like you get to about like 5 centimeters dilated, I was gonna call them so you don't have to wait for an epidural, you know, so you can have one as soon as the pain starts to get, you know, real. So I was like, okay, perfect, thank you, you know. So after that, the contractions started to really like hit. So the man comes and he gives me an epidural. And epidural, like, y'all, the epidural is so weird. Like, it's like a weird, cold feeling chill that goes down your back. It's so key. Yeah, it feels like a bee sting. Like, it's really weird. And they tell you not to move, and you're in this awkward position. So, mind y'all, I have magnesium toxicity at this point. Magnesium toxicity. I have the Pitocin, and I have an epidural, right? A few minutes go by, and those contractions, like, I really started to feel them, like, in my back. Like, it wasn't even really so much in my stomach. It was really in my back. And I'm like, what the heck? And it was in the same place. And when you have an epidural, they say, you know, whenever you have that, like, when you have the epidural, you have, like, a button you gotta press. So every time you press the button, it's like a cold chill that goes back down your spine. Basically, the epidural is supposed to help you with your contractions. So you have to press this button. So I kept pressing the button, and nothing was happening. Like, I'm like, every time I press this button, it's the same thing. Like, I still feel the same pain. Like I just told you, I have all that, you know, stuff in my system, you know, all those medications and stuff like that. So I was lethargic. Like, I couldn't hold my hand up. I couldn't sit up by myself. Like, it was insane. Like, and I guess as you guys could see in the video, you guys could just see how I was in the beginning of the video and how I was in the middle. You know, and how, like, I was like, you know, guys, you know, I was out of it, you know. So I became very lethargic because of all the medications that they were putting in my body. I was like, Mom, like, it hurts, like, Mom, like, and I was crying, like, Mom, like, it hurts, like, the contractions are no joke, like, it hurts so bad. So then I told my mom, and my mom, like, I told the doctor, I was like, I could feel it, like, it hurts, like, nothing is helping, like, I keep pressing this button. Because they tell you can't press it more than a certain amount of times at, like, I think within an hour or 3 hours, something like that. So, so I had to wait. It was just crazy. So then after that, the doctor came, and she was like, oh, they messed up the epidural. I got to put another epidural in your back. Or the anesthesiologist has to come and put another epidural in your back. I'm like, what? Guys, I felt like, y'all, honestly, not even gonna lie to y'all, I felt like I was gonna die. Like, I really did. Like, I was like, yo, like, the way everything was happening, it just really felt like unprofessional, honestly. And I did not like the hospital. If I was to have another kid, I would not go to the hospital at all. Like, the only reason why I went is because that was the closest hospital, and that hospital is where my doctor's appointments were. So that's the only reason why I was going to the hospital, but and never again. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a part 2 to this I guess, story time, kind of my experience, my real experience, you know. So I'm gonna be doing a part 2 to that, you guys, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, you know, and share if you guys had anything, you know, any experiences that was like this or anything. Love you guys. Bye.
It feel like I'm on something. Home back down to no one. Maybe by the rose come.